The untold story of the Rolex Gang. Inside South Africa's most notorious crime syndicate. The Rolex Gang, just the name alone, evokes a mix of fear and intrigue. This loosely connected network of criminals terrorized Johannesburg with audacious heists, targeting the affluent and their prized possessions, luxury watches, particularly Rolexes. But their story is far more than just a tale of stolen timepieces. It's a narrative of greed, violence, betrayal, and ultimately, downfall. In this in-depth account, we unravel the gripping events that defined their reign of terror, the tragic demise of key figures, and the broader implications of their crimes on South Africa's social fabric. The rise of the Rolex Gang, a network of shadows. At first glance, the Rolex Gang may seem like a singular entity. In reality, it was a decentralized network of skilled criminals operating across Johannesburg, united by one shared goal: targeting individuals who displayed wealth, particularly through their wristwatches. The gang's methods were meticulous. They prowled high-end malls, affluent neighborhoods, and luxury events, carefully selecting their targets. For them, a single glance at a luxury watch signaled an opportunity, an opening into the life of wealth that many of these criminals craved. Their primary targets were people in places like Sandton, where opulence is part of the landscape. Here, the Rolex Gang struck fear into the hearts of the rich, who began to rethink even their most mundane outings. But this wasn't just about stealing watches. These criminals had connections to international crime syndicates. The stolen Rolexes weren't pawned off locally. Instead, they were smuggled out of South Africa, finding buyers in countries like Greece, where eager customers snapped them up at a fraction of their retail price. This sophisticated smuggling network turned simple robberies into a global operation, making the Rolex Gang a key player in an international web of crime. Meet the players inside the gang's world. Moses Maleka, a criminal with a taste for luxury. Among the gang's most notorious members was Moses Maleka, a man who lived as extravagantly as his victims. Maleka was no ordinary criminal. He was a symbol of audacious excess. His assets included a Mercedes-Benz ML63, a Harley-Davidson motorcycle, and even a jet ski, reflecting his penchant for luxury. His home in Kempton Park was a fortress, fortified with advanced security systems and surveillance cameras, giving him the aura of an untouchable figure. But Maleka's love for the high life came at a cost. His crew was implicated in several high-profile crimes, including a robbery in Sandton where a woman was stripped of her Rolex watch and diamond earrings. A subsequent police raid uncovered stolen goods worth over 2.5 million rand, including plasma TVs, diamond rings, designer sunglasses, and multiple Rolex watches. Despite overwhelming evidence against him, Maleka was granted bail, a decision that would later have fatal consequences. Not long after his release, Maleka met a violent end. Outside a nightclub in Marlborough, he was gunned down in a brutal shooting that witnesses claimed stemmed from a confrontation over a woman. Speculation about the motive behind his death continues to swirl. Was it a gang-related hit, a personal vendetta, or a crime of passion? His funeral was a spectacle, reflecting his dual identity as a feared criminal and a beloved community figure. Kelvin L, the mastermind behind 60 heists. Another infamous figure, Kelvin L, was tied to over 60 violent robberies. He was a key architect of the Rolex Gang's operations, blending cunning strategy with ruthless execution. However, his reign ended in a dramatic police shootout in Mamelodi, Johannesburg. His death, like Maleka's, highlighted the dangerous intersection of crime, power, and law enforcement, raising uncomfortable questions about the complicity of local authorities in enabling such syndicates. Paba and George Mee, architects of fear. The reign of terror unleashed by Paba and George Mee was another chapter in the gang's dark history. These two criminals led a faction of the Rolex Gang responsible for a series of violent armed robberies. Their targets were not random. They sought high-value prizes, carrying out meticulously planned heists that often left victims traumatized. One of their most audacious moves occurred on March 28, 2014, when Karen Dorothy Walker narrowly escaped a robbery near Gooley's Interchange. Masked men in a white Mercedes opened fire as she fled. Just days later, Lauren B. was hijacked in Sakani Park by the same group. Their reign escalated rapidly, leaving a trail of fear and chaos in their wake.
The high-speed pursuits that ended an era. The gang's violent escapades eventually drew the full attention of law enforcement. A critical breakthrough came when warrant officers Derek Bruce McIntosh and Robert Dunn identified a white BMW believed to be the gang's getaway car. What followed was a harrowing chase. The suspects opened fire on the officers, damaging their vehicle and forcing them to abandon the pursuit. But the hunt didn't end there. Weeks later, Officer McIntosh spotted another vehicle linked to the gang, a silver Chevrolet. The ensuing chase was nothing short of cinematic. Despite sustaining injuries when gunfire shattered his car's rear window, McIntosh pressed on, ultimately arresting one of the suspects after a dramatic crash. These high-stakes confrontations marked the beginning of the end for this faction of the Rolex Gang, smuggling syndicates and the global market for stolen goods. The Rolex Gang's operations weren't confined to South Africa. Their success was underpinned by international smuggling networks that moved stolen goods overseas. One of these syndicates was led by Antonio, a shadowy figure exposed by an informant's affidavit. Antonio's connections reportedly extended into law enforcement, further complicating efforts to dismantle the network. This international dimension underscored the sophistication and reach of the gang's operations. The aftermath. Lessons learned and lingering threats. The police crackdown on the Rolex Gang brought much-needed relief to Johannesburg. While their downfall marked a significant victory, Rolex-related crimes haven't disappeared entirely. The gang's legacy serves as a reminder of how easily crime can flourish in the shadows of complacency and opportunity. High-profile victims, such as the wife of Tokyo sex whale, showed that no one was immune to the gang's reach. Even now, the sight of a luxury watch can attract opportunistic criminals. Law enforcement has made strides, but the battle against such syndicates is far from over. A sobering reminder. The story of the Rolex Gang is not just about crime. It's a mirror reflecting the challenges of inequality, corruption, and unchecked greed. From daring heists to tragic deaths, the gang's history reveals the high cost of pursuing wealth through violence. As Johannesburg rebuilds its sense of security, one lesson is clear. Vigilance is essential. Luxury items can bring status, but they also attract danger. True wealth, however, lies in living a life free of fear. Final words. The Rolex Gang may have been dismantled, but their story lingers as a cautionary tale. It's a reminder of the delicate balance between wealth and safety, and the lengths some will go to disrupt that balance. Stay cautious, stay vigilant, and remember, behind the glitter of luxury often lies a darker story of greed, violence, and survival. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the world of the Rolex Gang. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more captivating stories. See you in the next video.